I'm sorry, Boo. I know I just got this first appearance of you where you were breathed into the Marvel Universe, the rare black version, and as much as I would love to keep it to commemorate what we have, Zach has first dibs. I'm sorry, Boo. Very exciting video today as we got some incredible books coming and going out of the shop. I did two major trades recently that came in here on the same day. One was for Fantastic Four #1, a 3.5, an $18,000 in trade value book. So we'll go over those books here shortly. And the other one was for this book here, Edge of Spider-Verse #2, the Black Error edition, which I traded for $4,800 in trade value. And I want to take a minute real quick to talk about this book and why it's so special. So there was a printing error when they started printing Edge of Spider-Verse 2, the first appearance of the new Spider-Woman in Gwen Stacy, also known as Spider-Gwen, as we all know her. And they noticed that the printing was like so dark, it was almost black. So they stopped the printing and restarted it. And so there's like a lighter version, and then there's this black version, which is the true error. So the black version is the true error. I'll put up on the screen a side-by-side of this actual book next to a regular version of this book, and you'll see the stark contrast in it. Now, there's a little bit of confusion about this because there's also variations in printing. Anytime you print a comic book, you know, there's darker and lighter versions of that book. Every single exclusive that I've got so far, you can see it, you know, especially when you get thousands of copies, you know, there's slight variation. So slightly darker is not rare for this book. It's not an error. So a lot of times it's really hard to pin this down. Grading companies don't recognize the error. CBCS might, but CGC definitely does not. And one other tricky thing about this book is that for whatever reason, iPhones have a hard time picking up the true color of this book. It just makes it look darker than it actually is. So I've had instances where I bought one off eBay thinking it was the dark variant, and I get it in person and it's not dark at all. And I think it's just because of a setting in the phone or something like that. So truly special book. When this book came through, the first person I thought about was my buddy Zach. He's been a longtime supporter of the channel and my shop for years. He's an avid Spider-Gwen fan. And I said, hey, do you have this? Do you need this? Are you interested? And he goes, yes, I'm interested. You know, let me figure something out. And we were able to work out a trade. And I'm super glad that it goes to him because I really wanted to keep it. You know, I'm a fan of Spider-Gwen, as you can see. And this, to me, is the key to own for Spider-Gwen. Even more so than the 1 in 25 Greg Land variant for this book, because it's so much harder to track down a true error version of this book. There's plenty of copies of the 1 in 25. You can find them any day of the week. You won't have too hard of a time getting it for fair market value. You might have to be patient and wait for an auction, but they do happen all the time. Now, this book, on the other hand, does not come up as an opportunity all the time. However, I just bought a book for my PC for about $5,000, and I thought I can't just spend another $5,000, you know. And that's one of the toughest things about this job is that, you know, deciding what to keep when stuff comes in that you absolutely love, and it just wasn't in the cards for me to keep it. Absolutely stoked it's going to Zach. Let's flip the camera around and go take a look at these books. Also, most of the books that are going to be shown in this video are available over at brycecomics.com. Use code COLLECT10 for 10% off all in-stock items. That code is always active, and while you're there, sign up for the newsletter. Brand new giveaway this month, and I will announce the winner for last month's Swaggle signed Darkhawk #1 in an upcoming video this week. So this first stack here is for the trade for the Edge of Spider-Verse Dark Error variant, but this book actually was not part of either one of these trades. I just wanted to show it off. It came in actually as part of the partial cash trade deal for the Hulk 181 8.5 that I just had. Look at how pretty she is. Just gorgeous, gorgeous colors on this one. Double signed, custom label. That custom label just looks absolutely awesome for Secret Wars 8. I would be surprised if that book is still available by the time you're watching this, but it might be if you check out brycecomics.com. So here's for Edge of Spider-Verse 2. We got Fantastic Four #49 and a 4.0. It's qualified. It is missing page 3, which does not affect the story, but it is an incomplete copy. First full appearance of Galactus, second appearance of Silver Surfer, first Silver Surfer and Galactus cover. One of the greatest Silver Age covers of all time, in my opinion. Ultimate Spider-Man #1 in 9.0 with that custom label, signature series. Second appearance of Miles Morales, first solo series, and first Ultimate Prowler. Something's Killing the Children 16. This is the 1 in 50 sketch cover for the first full appearance of Jessica Slaughter and the origin of Erica Begins. Fantastic Four 358, Marvel's first die-cut cover in a 9.8. Batman 108, this is the Rose Besh Comic Mint Edition B, which I believe is a minimal trade dress. First full appearance of Miracle Molly, signed by Rose Besh. Absolutely stunning artwork. Harley Quinn 17 in 9.8 white, double signed by David Nakayama and Sabine Rich. X-Men 129 in a 9.2 white, the custom label. DC Comics presents number 26, first appearance of the new Teen Titans in preview. Kanan Last Padawan, #1, first appearance of Ezra Bridger, Sabine Wren, and a whole bunch of others. Gorgeous art here by Will Jack for Action Comics number 1053. Magic #1 in 9.8 white. This is the first solo series for Magic, and she doesn't actually get called Magic until later in the series, I believe, which is interesting. Sandman #8, the first appearance of Death in a 9.4 white. Captain Carter #1 in a 9.8. This is the animation variant for the first comic book appearance of Captain Carter. And then the last two here are the big boys. Nyx #3 in a 9.8 white pages. Absolutely stunning copy here. Beautiful, beautiful spine. Beautiful 9.8 for the first appearance of X-23. And Giant Size X-Men #1 in a 6.5. I'm going to have to pull up the grader's notes on this one because I'm looking at it and going, why is this a 6.5? I mean, it looks very, very, very nice for a 6.5. So I'll pull the grader's notes and put them up on the screen if I found anything obvious in those. All right, so this next two stacks here are for the trade for the Fantastic Four #1. $18,000 trade value for this, and stay tuned to the last book. I'm going to save the most exciting book for last. X-Men 66 in a 7.0, X-Men 94 in a 5.0, the new X-Men Begin, the second appearance of Nightcrawler, Storm, Thunderbird, and Colossus. X-Men #12 in a 4.0, Origin of Professor X and the origin and first appearance of the Juggernaut. This is one of the first Silver Age books that I bought, and it was a 4.0. I remember it like yesterday, and so much has changed since then, but it's really kind of cool to see these books that you have like a personal tie to and you remember that point in your life. Avengers #4 in a 3.5, the first Silver Age appearance of Captain America. House of Secrets 92 in a 3.5, first appearance of the Swamp Thing, and just an absolutely stunning Bernie Wrightson cover. Detective Comics 359, origin first appearance of Batgirl in a 5.0. Classic cover for Wolverine #8 in a 9.0. Classic cover for Wolverine Limited Series #1 in a 9.0 white. George Perez goodness on Crisis on Infinite Earth #3 in a 9.6. Signature series with the custom George Perez label. Spawn #1 in a 9.8. Incredible Hulk 449, the first appearance of the Thunderbolts in a 9.8. New Teen Titans #2, first appearance of Deathstroke, the Terminator, and the first appearance of Trigon in cameo in a 9.4 white. X-Men 131, second appearance of Dazzler, Emma Frost appearance, awesome cover. Batman 427 in a 9.4, it says Jim Starlin written on first page in pen. So it didn't get the gold label because it wasn't a witness signature, but it did still get the blue label because writing on the inside of the book typically doesn't devalue the book. So usually when there's a signature on the inside, they'll just give it a blue label and put name written on first page. If they signed the front of the cover and it wasn't witnessed, it would get a green label and say name written on cover. So that's interesting how they handle that. Batman #423 in a 9.4 with white pages, first print. Batman 357 9.4, first appearance of Killer Croc. Dark Knight Returns set here. We have issue #4, issue #3, and issue #2. Transformers #1, Origin and First Appearance of the Autobots and Decepticons, in that classic Bill Sienkiewicz cover. 9.4 white pages. G.I. Joe, Real American Hero #1, 8.5 white pages. Tons of first comic book appearances, and a 9.4 white pages. So here's the big boy. We got X-Men #1 in a 7.0 signed by Stan Lee. Origin and First Appearance of the X-Men, and good lord, is this a nice presenting copy for a 7.0. So it's restored because there is a small amount of color touch on cover. And the first thing right off the bat I can see where that color touch is right there on that green. You can see the color touch. And it's just so fascinating that it also says small areas on the spine. It's really hard to see anything else on this spine besides that obvious spot up in the front. I'm gonna bust a magnifying glass out and see if I can find it, and I'm also gonna pull up the notes real quick. So here are the grader's notes. Color touch, non-archival material, small areas, so that usually means it's done with a pen. Spine C1, small color touch, non-archival material, small areas, right bottom of front cover. Light water stain, left bottom of back. Light water stain, left top of back. Light multiple crease, left bottom of back cover. Small crease, right bottom of front cover. Small, very light stain, full top of spine. Stress lines. So the color touch, bottom right front. So I think what happened here is they color touched this crease right there. And so I think the color touch is here on on that little crease. There's a couple spots here, and then there's a couple spots here. And you can see why they would use the term small on something like this. Like, relative to the surface area of the book, that is a very small area. However, if you were to remove that, it would, you know, absolutely kill the grade. I think the thing to do with this book, because I talked to my friend Rodney, who I got it from, and he said that he had it for I think 20 years. He had no idea it was restored. He got it graded in 2016, and he was absolutely shocked when it came back restored, which is a very common story that I hear all the time. And because that's what happens, is people were sold these books and it was not disclosed there was color touch. Maybe the seller didn't even know there was color touch. This one's kind of obvious, but he said it wasn't pressed or cleaned. And so I think possibly the thing to do is to go for a grade bump on this one and keep it restored, but just go for a grade bump and try to get an 8.0 or an 8.5 restored. Those stains are super, super light. These water stains, I mean, I absolutely don't doubt they're there, and it's not something that CGC would work on. So maybe you just keep it as is and just enjoy it as is, as a beautiful presenting X-Men #1. Because the thing about this, because of the signature, the only people that can crack, press, and clean it is CGC. If you have anyone else do it, you're going to lose the gold label, and it would get a qualified restored label, which would be horrible. So CGC doesn't work on staining at all. So, and there's also the gray area of whether it's even ethical to remove stains and still get an unrestored label. So all of that to say, an absolutely stunning book. It's available for sale at BryceComics.com, also available for trade, and all of these books will be listed there. So make sure you're subscribed to the newsletter if you're not already, to get first access to these, because a lot of times by the time the video comes out, they've been on the website for a few hours and most of them are gone. So thank you as always for sticking with us to the end of the video. Make sure to subscribe, comment, and like for your chance to win a brand new giveaway this month, and I'll announce the winners in one of the videos next week. Follow me over on Instagram and Whatnot, link down in the description for $15 for your first purchase on Whatnot. We're having a ton of fun over there, and there will be some future shows that will definitely be worth checking out. So I hope to see you there, and thanks for sticking with us to the end of the video. Catch you in the next one. Bye. And here is the creme de la crop. Creme de la crop. Don't, gotta cut that part out, Marcus.